usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this, there's a knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As usual, we welcome you back. I made man in the image of myself. If you understood the teaching of last week and the week before, and understanding the process of creation, you should have realized by now how you became to be made by him and to be image of him. Depending on the condition of the environment, him manifests himself. The rays of the source going through the time of the generation of this universe, some people say up to recently when we announced 4.5 billion, said it's much more, they made it to 13.5 billion, and then they measured the width of this universe to be so many 900 billion years or 95 billion years, depends where you listen to. So if the life is 19 billion, how could it be 13.5 billion years of this universe? So we don't know the time. But when the rays started from the source, traveling the span of the universe, becoming part of the galaxies, and then part of the star as rays and fields, then this ray travels through the skin of the man. It becomes the lymph of the man, and then it becomes the blood of the man, and interaction with the fields of the universe which interacted creates the body of the man, and then man radiates fields and thereon. So now we know through the teaching that we are made from the rays of the Creator. We absorb 80% of our life from it. We use what we can at a higher order in the form of the lymph and the neural system. And then when the order of the strength changes, reduces, we go into the pipeline of blood of physicality, and we become the source of the lower with a higher field of strength, become the spirit of the man. And then we radiate, as we say, fields of the heart can be measured 3 meters away from the body, and then we have measured the rest of it. We become back the fields of the lower strength for the next cycle of life is below a strength of the man. So now we understand we are part of it. We are actually created by it. The fields of the universe passing our skin, becoming part of our blood, and it's just that how different field strength made the galaxies and made the stars and the planet. We are part of that process. So for the first time, we understand how we became him. We became part of him. We are created by him. And the process of creation is complete according and to up to the level of the man's understanding in the condition of his physical appearance. But once we understand as the soul of the man, we have become free from the physicality imprisonments of this body. We become the soul. We become the energy source, which our Russian friends have measured it, seen it departing, and many people have videoed it on your new telephone mobile unit. And then you understand why you absorb 80%, because once you're a plasma, you interact with the environment. You're a weaker plasma compared to the solar systems and galaxies, and to the principle of the what we call transfer. The higher order feeds the lower order. So now you understand, if you have the star formation of the soul of the man and the spirit of the man, as the lower order we receive from the higher order. That's where the 80% comes from. In essence, even if you look at the world of the creation, as we discussed in many teachings before, we eat the harvest of this planet, the sources of the energies of this planet, and we convert it into energy, becomes the lymph. So when we eat that beans, when we eat that grain of rice, we send a tracer. This is what's the field is we need for our body, the starch we need for our body, the sugar we need for our body, and the universe sends the other 80% in. So our food, in essence, is a black hole trap for the higher order fields of the universe to feed us. Now we understand how the whole process works. In a way, we eat that 20% continuously to absorb the other 80%. Directly, it's me here, feed me. And once we understand this, it comes to one question for mankind to answer. Where is the end? Because the end is not us. As the end wasn't the earth, as the end wasn't the sun, as the end wasn't the galaxy, and as the end wasn't the universe. What is after the energy which man converts it as part of process of his living? We are another conversion process where part of us become what we call the soul and travel the span of the universe, absorbing 80% of his energy for his source of survival, and the other 20%, which is the body of man, we leave behind, become the source for another cycle of life in the dimension of physicality. Now you understand how the process of life is completed, how the process of existence is complete, how as humans, for the first time, we understand scientifically why we are made. We are the image of, depending on what feels.
Hello, Mr. Kesh. We can't hear you currently. Hello, Mr. Kesh. We can't hear you. Okay, bear with us, folks, for a minute or two. Thank you, Azar, for the notating the place of disconnect. Okay, I see he's trying to get back in here. There might be a connection issue at the other end. Well, maybe it's a good opportunity to practice some of those breathing exercises that have been given recently as we contemplate in this moment of silence. I think our silence is about to be interrupted, though.
Hi, can you hear?
Hello, Mr. Kesh. Yes, we hear you now.
We had to change servers. We fell out of from one server to another. Advantages of the new technology.
As Azar said, she says we lost you at depending on the image.
Yes, depending on the image we create. The image of man on Earth is the mirror of the gravitational magnetic field and inertia of this planet. The mirror of inertia of the moon, and it's not the same. So it's obvious that The Creator has many images. I made man in the image of myself, which is I manifest myself depending on the filter where I am manifested. This is why we always say the place, the position, the position. And we now understand. We, as the soul of the man, we look different according to the mirror which reflects the image of the Creator. So, in essence, when we see another creatures of a Creator in the dimension of the universe, it's the same as us. Because he was made by energy of him, by the fields of him, and his manifestation, his presence, his what we observe as being is the mirror of his soul in the dimension of the place and the position of where the mirror was made. The manifestation showed itself, mirrored the Creator. So in essence, all creators are one. It just depends what mirror you use. When you go to a circus, you have a concave and half concave and twisted half concave and converged one and all sorts, and you see yourself fat, slim, and whatever. That's your image. Depends what the environment of the mirror and the shape of the mirror was made to show you. And this is exactly what mankind and the rest of the creation of the world and the universe are. It just depends how the fields of the universe were twisted, how pressure was put on it, and then how twisted that picture turned up. But on the other hand, is one image. When you go to the circus and you stand in the center of the room, if you have done this, one mirror looks fat on the left and the thin on the right and the short on the other side, but the image is one man in the middle. And this is exactly how man is. It depends which mirror we are looking at, and the mirror of the creation is the dimension of fields of its environment, how it's been twisted and how it's been tainted with what it has. But the man in the center, the Creator in the center, is exactly the same. And once we understand this, we understand the knowledge of the creation. We understand I made man in the image of myself, but I manifested according to his position, and the environment and the energy it possesses. Maybe now, us as a human being, stop eating that image, because what we eat the manifestation of the Creator. That lamb, that grain, that pig, that pigeon, it's all the same fields. It just depends on what mirror and where the soul found its reflection. Would you eat your Creator? Would you eat your mother? Then man has to find a solution. Man has to find a source to stop this mayhem of killing. That learns how to tap in into the soul of the man, to energy, the gaseous part, and which flow freely to know his physicality. Now we understand. Now we understand the meaning of the words which put together. It doesn't matter what language man uses, as the universal community, most of them have no mouth to talk, no mouth to eat, no hand to kill, no nose to breathe even the air. man learns to live through the interaction of the fields of the universe with a mirror image of his soul. Now you understand, if the earth in its mirror manifests itself as earth, so our soul in interaction with the fields of the Creator manifests itself as man. Our soul is a reflection of the essence of the Creator. And once man understands this, once man understands the reality about his physicality, which is the mirror image of the Creator in a time, place, and position of itself, then man realizes, is it worth killing? Is it worth destroying? Whereby it I destroy myself. As I said many times, a fool shoots itself in the foot and joins a marathon to win. And a fool shoots himself in both feet and tries to win the marathon, one in the soul of the man and one in the spirit of the man. Now, the society of the man has to understand why lying in the culture of Iran is forbidden. It's the biggest crime. Because when the man lies to himself, man kills for it. When man understands the truth, he does not need to lie to himself. The biggest lie a man says is to himself. I'm not part of the Creator. I'm not created by Creator. For that, I do what I like. Now, if we understand this, it brings back man to one ethos of Mitra. And then we see the universe and the world of the man needs to join, to become, to understand, to do nothing. Don't create children, understand children of Mitra. They understand the essence of the creation. They understand the knowledge of creation. They understand the essence of the creation. Now, you as knowledge seekers are given the Pandora box of creation. Now, as knowledge seekers, you understand the knowledge which has been hidden from humanity for centuries and thousands of years. It's for you to decide how to create the next generation. It's for you to decide how to shape the next generation. It's for you to decide if the next generation will be a slave to this planet and manifest the image of the interaction of the field of the soul of the man and the soul of this planet as a body of the man, or it becomes a self directly, the reflection of the images of the Creator, and it stays in the dimension of itself, detached from what we call the fields effects of this planet, even though it's his home. Maybe you as knowledge seekers and the future generations will listen to this teaching of today, join all the dots and find out is a circle and not a straight line. Comes from one point and it becomes itself, and in twisting to become itself, it becomes the shape of the plasma which we have drawn for decades in this teaching. As it twists back at every point to itself, and man calls it gravitational and the man calls it magnetical. But it comes back to itself at the rays of the leftover of its interaction with its environment has become the soul of the man. When you become the soul, when you become that reflection of the no dimension of physicality, you return back, you return the fields of the Creator back to itself, that its reflection creates another dimension of manifestation. It cannot be put in any easier way and more clearer way than for man to understand why he is the image of his Creator. He is one of those mirrors. And the universe has many mirrors, but one source, one man in the center, The rest are twisted mirrors in different field, strength, dimension, and direction. Next time, when you do a crime, ask yourself one question. Is this how the Creator wants to be shown, to be reflected, the energy to be, as His source and His rays to be, or am I to be the source of the perfection? At least I show how He looks, and there is no twists and turns in direction of my life. Once man understands this, once man takes steps to ratify what has been made wrong by his ancestors and the process of the creation, then man matures to join the universal community, because then he reflects the true image of the Creator. It does not matter which mirror it manifests itself into. Ask yourself, once I leave this physical body as the soul of the man, and I become another point of reflection of the rays of the Creator, what image what I create shall manifest itself to be seen by the others? A twisted one, a murderous one, a true reflection of the Creator, or me dreaming for what I cannot achieve as I dream the wrong way? Now, the science has to find the answer to this question. And simple, if I am the image of my Creator, what have I done wrong to taint His image? And then try to ratify, try to change, try to understand life is beyond a breath, life is beyond eating, life is beyond what we call physical existence of the creation. And when you become to the dimension of fields of the creation, when you travel the fields of the universe in the strength field of the others, would there be any difference? Or is it that's why the space is empty to the eye of the man? One day we'll answer this question. And one day will manifest the truth about how man sees what he wants to see, but in reality is not what the man has made himself to see, because this way he can ignore his own crime. Next time, or when the man meets the man of a space, ask them what nowadays when you want to join on your mobile phone to any bank, they say look into the mirror, look into the camera, open your mouth, close your mouth, look left, look right. You ask an alien, open your mouth. The camera, the reflection of Creator, wants to take a picture of you. He has no mouth to commit the eating of another. He has no nose to even take the life of another while he breathes. He has trained himself, he has developed itself, he has brought a condition to himself that I do not need to consume. I create the strength of what I need within my soul, that I absorb what I need from the free fields of the universe without committing the crime of the universe. Now you understand why man is alone and he has to be uprooted from the condition of killing in the other dimensions of the creation. When you have no mouth, you don't kill for. When you receive what you need from the dimension of universe, there is no greed. When you understand you're equal to the others to take what they need, the luxuries, the crowns, and the palaces of this, what we call miserable planet, has no meaning, as you can access everything you need in the dimension of universe, which is love. which means giving. And the whole thing man will be engaged in the coming time, once I understand this, is how much what can give from me to make the universe a better place where all others can enjoy my existence, as I don't take anything, but I become a source to give everything. One day humanity will reach that point. One day, once we bring the dimension of what we call new knowledge and technology, we allow man to lose his mouth, to lose his nose, and to become part of relying on the sources of his soul in dimension, with access to the dimension of his spirit, that uses the spirit of the man to lower the fields of the universe for its manifestation in the dimension of existence. In a way, as I said before, you need rivers and you need dimension of flow from higher to lower. Where the dimension of water falls, need water, the blood needs the circulation of the pump. The man will learn to use the fields of the universe and not the physical rivers of life. Flowing, be it to drink the water of it or the rivers of the blood of it. One day, mankind will mature, that by choice he will close his mouth, and by choice in teaching himself will close his nose and join the universal community. As I don't have nothing to take in, no holes in it, I don't commit the crimes of the killing of it. And soon man will find solutions in the plasma technology which we have thought, and we strengthen it to add to it, to become part of the cycle of life of the man. Then one day man might see himself, his soul, as the mirror that in reflection of the fields of the Creator leads to the manifestation of the physicality of the man. I hope you knowledge seekers have been enlightened to know why and how you look. When you stand in front of the mirror next time, that's the image of soul of you in reflection of the soul and the fields of the Creator. Do you like the image? What do you see? And is satisfying to you, or you use that mirror to understand the burden of life your soul has accepted, and the suffering accepted for the misconduct of the man which has got his hand to the hilt with blood of the other living things in the universe, other souls which they reflected themselves from the rays of the Creator. There is no difference between the soul of the man and the reflection of the fields of the Creator, which gives the image of the man, and the soul of that grain, which is a protein in it, which manifests itself as the grain of rice. Both reflects, according to their own environment, the field of the universe. Now, mankind has a huge dilemma. Ignore it, and you ignore it to peril, and understand it, and you become the true reflector of the lights of the Creator through the soul of the man. And when you stand in front of that mirror, you'll shine like it as what we call the sun, and not as a physicality of the man. One day, mankind will decide and will make that difference. And once one man makes that change, the rest will follow. But the ground for it has to be made. The dimension of the peaceful of the man has to be made. A man has to be made to understand he has no needs, but he has a lot to give. And this is a part of the work of the Keshe Foundation. Starting from the Keshe coin to the dimension of teaching of the plasma technology. Step by step will walk man out of this need, hunger, desire of what has brought such a shame to such a beautiful soul of this planet in the reflection of the fields of the Creator. the parasites of the creation, what we call the human race. Enjoy your time, but understand the knowledge and change this parasite to a beautiful butterfly, which become the envy of the creation. We go for a break. I hope for the first time you understood the purpose of the teachings in true meaning of after 14 years, 13 years of teaching. We're all getting home, but depends which road we decide. As they say, all roads end up in Rome, and all fields of the Creator, in the essence of the soul of the man and the rest of the creation, will end up with the Creator. Which path you take is your decision. Rick, take us for a break and we come back.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. I note that in our AI video, the AI even refers to Mr. Kesh as the source. So that's kind of interesting. All right, we'll have a short break here with the Kesh coin video, number 2. And when we come back, there'll be an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Kesh. So those in the Zoom can put up their virtual hands. We can allow your microphone to open. You can also put questions in the webinar chat or in the Q&A or in the YouTube chat as well. Okay, here we go.
In a world of boundless potential, we have often forgotten our most precious resource. Mothers who dream of a better life for their children, yet face the harsh reality of lack and need. Food, medicine, clothing, and education, the basic pillars of human dignity, remain out of reach for so many. Humanity has forgotten the value of the child, but that is about to change. Introducing Cashcoin, not just a currency, but a humanitarian digital infrastructure designed to restore dignity to every human being. It begins where life begins, with the recognition of every child's inherent value. The initial step. Upon birth registration, every child receives 1,000 cash coins, subject to conditions. With each coin valued internally at 1,000 euros, the path to a dignified life is opened. Access to food, healthcare, and growth can be guaranteed. This is powered by a secure global blockchain network, a digital foundation built for humanity, an infrastructure of validator nodes and transparent data, ensuring that resources reach those who need them most. From the shadows of poverty, we see the first light of transformation. Families gaining the security they deserve. Education becomes a right, not a privilege. Knowledge grows through humanity, opening doors to a new future. We are building a world where social well-being is the standard, where every home is safe and every clinic is functioning. This is the realistic future we achieve through knowledge, technology, and the unwavering pursuit of peace. A functioning global network of human value, connecting one planet, one nation, one race. The transformation is real. It is the recognition that our collective future depends on the value we place on each other. Cashcoin restores the dignity that was lost, creating a legacy of opportunity for the generations to come. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice and value. One planet, one nation, one race. A singular vision for a unified humanity. As we find peace on Earth, we look toward the stars. Our potential is no longer bound by our struggle. Peace opens the path to the universe. Knowledge leads us into the infinite. Cash Coin, because the value of humanity begins with the child, and our peace opens the path to the stars. Join us in building the future. Cash Coin. One planet, one nation, one race.
Okay, we're back again at the 656 Knowledge Seekers Workshop here. And as noted, because it's the second part, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. But first, of course, Mr. Kesh will have a few things to say. And so please go ahead, Mr. Kesh. Hello, are you there, Mr. Kesh? Not able to hear you at this point if you are trying to speak. Don't see the microphone going yet. Still no sound. Okay, it's dropped out, so bear with us a minute or two. Whoops, coming back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hear you now.
As I said, we have opened the doors up to now.
You dropped out again.
Last few weeks for trial. From next week, we accept. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now, yes.
Hello.
There's a lag there, but it's okay.
Okay. As I said, they don't like to hear what's come because possibly they know us to join the Keshe Foundation, what we call our work, and register in different structures of the game and associations, and to be able to use the cash coin facilities as it's getting released. From next week, you in the store of the soap at home, you site in your place supports your life. Once we approve you to be inside of the structure of the family of Keshe Foundation, you can use the store. We have put no limits. You can be a plumber, sell your services, and you can be a merchant. You can be anything you like. You can start buying and selling your goods through the Keshe store. This is on the verge of being completed on the stores, hopefully by next week, even though it could be ready today. That we allow the circulation of the cash coin to become part of the structure. We have many retailers, we have many knowledge seekers who make goods, and up to now they haven't had a chance to be able to market it in an international platform of all platforms. You make magnets, you make whatever. You're a farmer, you sell chewing gum, you make a bike. You can use a cash coin as long as you register in the structure of the Keshe Foundation operation. In a few weeks' time, we open the door into the world of the government. We open the door for governments to be able to accept cash coin in exchange for trading. We are negotiating, and once this is done between 2 or 3 countries, especially African nations, will change a lot of things for them. And we start the process of what we call unification. The limitation, I would like to see it gradually to change, but our team are faster than what we can plan, what we do. And hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll register the first 1 or 2 governments into the structure of the cash foundation coin, if all negotiations goes well. As I was explaining to one of the knowledge seekers before the teaching starts, I have hardly seen bed as bed in past few weeks. It needs to be done, and hopefully with the team we have working relentlessly to make sure everything is correct. Once it goes into open, then the whole world of creation will change. No one needs to borrow to be in the hand of the Jewish lobby that drain the blood of the humanity, and no one needs to be in the hand of the Rothschilds to create war for them to become richer, even though all die with all diseases. As a friend of mine said once, Rothschild family has the most strangest diseases, and they die in a worse way human race can die. And I said to him, Bill, it's the crimes they done, they pay for it. Now, as of next week, bring the fruit of your work, register with our structure and become part of it, and start earning a living out of it. Then you decide how to sell, how to change, how to convert it to your local currencies by buying stock and buying your goods or your services in the cash coin, and convert it locally to your currency that you can benefit by to survive, as your soul reflects the image of your existence. It will be interesting to see how this takes shapes in the coming months and years, where you don't need to pay anything to get it, you get it, and through it you live to enjoy it, that exists, and how you as knowledge seekers will become part of the structure, that you make things knowing you have already been paid just to be busy you are doing. This is the purpose of why we allocated 30 coins. It's nearly, if you look at it, €2,500 coins a month, €2,500 a month valuation, internal value of what we do when you become part of what you do. Considering engineer with a BSc in Iran earns $500, a worker in China working 26 days a month earns around $800 if he's lucky. An African is happy with $100 and has to work day and night for it. Now you all get about $3,000 roughly if you calculate it a month without doing anything. We pay you to serve humanity. We pay you to change humanity. And let's see how many of you reject having the funds to live, and how Rothschild is trying to find to grab this money out of you. Because the interesting thing is, the more they grab, the more you have. And it'll be interesting to see what governments will bring out as they see the taxes are paid by a coin they never had no say in it, and nobody bought it, and everybody started dealing with it. It'll be interesting for you to know you have food on the table. You're not worried about, well, I'm busy to serve humanity the first of the month, and the 2.5 coins is in my pocket, in my account, in cash coin, and I can use it to live. I don't need to lie. I don't need to commit crime, and I don't need to do anything wrong. As I'm comfortable, the only thing left for me is to serve humanity, because I get bored of sleeping and lying down. I find it knowledge to serve. And the beauty of it is that for the first time, if you understand what we've done to you, it will be amazing. As I said many times before, we pay the sweeper and the cleaner and the gatekeeper of our company is the same, and more bonuses than the bosses. And they always complain that we are the boss and we have to be paid more. And I told them many times, if he doesn't clean, there is no boss, because you have no place to sit except in your own excrements and in your own mess. And we have created values for studying, and we put us 120,000. I need 200,000 to show I am better. Now you're all worth the same. A doctor, ambassador, prince, a doorkeeper, a paralyzed man, invalid, you all get equal recognition. And with it, you can live a perfect life. Knowing that very soon, even many of you, as the Swiss did very recently, refused to accept money per month from their government because they said we don't need the handout, what we call national social security, because it stays as a national asset. The way the technology is developed, none of you need to pay for oil as you travel free through the knowledge. None of you need to pay as such for an apple and food as you receive the energy through your mobile phone and the new ONNs. And none of you needs to pay extortionate prices to travel the span of this planet and the space, as you all can do it through an app and transportation through magnetic fields. We're talking about a few months, a few years, depending which side of the coin things turn up. So if you pay for one apple, let's say 1 cent of €1, you can eat a lot of apples, 100,000 apples a month. Then you understand many of you will not even a fraction of it, and that's why we put there, yeah. So
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
rich that nobody can happiness and content. That game, peace. And I thank. Can you hear me? Hello.
It broke up, but we can hear you now. Yeah, it just had a lag there briefly.
As I said, we thank the creator of the game and the thought which has gone into it and the effort which has gone to it and the way it's been set up. As I said, when we come with the souls fully equipped to do what we want to do. And as we've seen many times, the game is the way to bring man to use the technology and the coin to bring all to be equal. The beauty of it is the King of England, he still receives his 2.5 coin a month, as much as the butler and as much as the man whose streets cleaned by him outside the palace, the same as the man in the jungles of Africa. And I wonder which one will refuse to cash it in, or which one will save as much as possible not to use it, to give its coin to the others, for them, as they don't need it, to help, to build, to change their humanity. The implication of what is about to come out and has come out is huge. The online systems are out. More is released, will be released this week and next week. And at the same time, as we expand on this, we understand more is needed to be done by us, and more is needed to be done by you. Use the coin. Open your shops. If you're a mother at home and you bake a cake, put it, I'm in this street and this corner house. If you want, I have a cake I baked today. You can take one coin, one part of one coin, and give me a strawberry, a jam jar. And then we both are paid by the coin. We don't need to go and rub each other, and we all have what we need. In a way, if you think of it, cash coin takes us back to the barter world of the humanity, which we've done for centuries and decades. Man carried coins in his pocket. Now man carries the same coin as a cash coin to trade with the rest of the world. And once you pass this universe of man beyond the few hundred meters from the surface of this planet, I wonder how much cash coin you can give to the aliens. It'll be a good joke, because they give you everything free. A man, hopefully by then, has learned. Join the shop, join the store, put your products, your little handmade toys, little paintings, the products of your shop, link it to your currency and link it to your currency of love, and start using the coin as exchange rate, and tell others, have you got a cash coin? We have a friend in Cash Foundation, everybody talks to, says, you want to speak to me, go to Telegram. That's the only place I talk. And you say, you want to pay me with a coin. That's the only coin I know. And gradually we'll see the change as it comes from the system. You register yourself, now register your shops, your businesses, and the shop is there for the few. It does not matter what you make. And ship it across this universe. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Let me see here. Well, we have a question from Mike about the this cash coin setup. Says, for the merchant that would sell under the foundation, utilizing the cash coin as payment methods, will their products be certified by the foundation and or the specific industry certification agencies before they're authorized to sell their product under the foundation?
You have to have everything. You have to have everything legally covered. If you sell goods in Europe, your goods have to have a C certificate. If you sell your goods in US, you have to have a US certificate. And if you're selling your vegetable, I've never seen a certification for vegetables, yes, I presume yes. You have to cover the laws of your land. We are not here to break law.
Okay. Go to a question from Pamela from the Brazilian community, who says, good morning, Mr. Kesh. In the 654th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, you mentioned that if the soul of the man did not have the earth to interact with, our soul would remain alone without any connections or interactions with the planet. And elsewhere, you said that magnetic fields function without the interaction of the fields. I'm trying to understand this because when it comes to physical emotions, I think we interact all the time. If you could elaborate a bit more on this non-interaction of the soul, I'd appreciate it.
We are multifunctioning as a soul. It's not, as they say, we call it the quantum plasma. They use the word of quantum, that it means in the digital world, in the binary world, you're a 0 or 1. In the dimension of plasma, you're 1 and 0 at the same time. You're not connected to none, but you're connected to everything. You stand alone as a soul, but at the same time, your soul is connected to everything else. You have to understand what the teaching at which part connects to what, and in respect to what. In the world of binary, you have 0 and 1. In the plasma like Earth, you have North Pole and the South Pole. But what they haven't taught you is for a certain field of strength, the field enters from the north and exits from the south. And what balances is static. This is why the fields are at the boundary of the plasma and not inside the plasma, because once you enter the inner zone field strength of the plasma, there is no difference, it's all equal. If you go back to one of the teachings, God knows how long ago, we explained we have a system, we have measured it, we know exactly, we use it in our lab. In the plasma, everything is DC. Where it interacts with the other fields, which is not of the strength of itself, we see interaction, we see AC. Difference between the plasma field and its environment. So, in a way, inside, you are 0. On the edge, you are 1, you exist. On one end, you receive, and from the same end, you give. If you go back to the teachings of the past, I've mentioned this many times, when you get a magnet and you put dust on it, you see lines. But there's an image of understanding of mind. You just look at the lines of the iron dust which you put on the paper with the magnet underneath. But there are fields which create that separation, which is no iron. That's another field which is going in. You saw the going out. So our teaching of science about magnet has been put on the wrong basis. And so in a plasma condition, you're a 0, nothing in the middle, there is no potential difference. But at the edge, you're 1, and you are both at the same time. You are gravitational as much as you're magnetical. Then you understand why sometimes you as a soul, no connection, but at the same time is you in connection with the soul of the earth. Your emotion is a reflection of your soul. Your physicality is the reflection of your soul in interaction with the soul of the planet. This is why the emotion is connected to the soul of the man and the dimension of non-tangibility. One day I will explain very soon why you even have create cancer, how you create human cell of the man, how your image is created by the interaction of the field of yourself. As, let me give you an example you understand very clearly, very, very rapidly. As we all know, human race is the only race on its female side which has permanent breast. No other mammal has this. We are born as girls. We have a same condition as the boys. And when we pass a certain hormonal condition, we manifest breast. And this breast in the brain of the man stays in a condition for the rest of our life. Because we do not know when next time we'll be pregnant, and so it becomes part of our system. If you can look at chimpanzees, if you look at the monkeys, if you look at any mammal, breast appears, or the function of the breast appears when there is a child and there is need for a feed, and then disappears. Not in human race. The emotion that I'm ready at any time to create life, to give life, to love, doesn't exist with no other creatures on this planet except human race. This comes out of emotion of existence. But if that emotion is broken, the same breast which gives life, but the interaction of the ionization of that calcium in the breast of the woman gives a cancer to one to destroy life that does not create more life, to create suffering. It's the emotion, the power of that emotion which creates that cancer. The only calcium we see which stays, doesn't matter where, in your lung, in your breast, in your wherever, to cancer, is that if that single seed of calcium is ionized, which can only be ionized by emotion or by accident or by setup condition through what we call evolution. Once the world of science understand this, once they purely understand this, then we find when the soul has nothing but the emotion of the love, there cannot be any cancer, because it does not produce that specific energy to ionize that seed of calcium that become the seed of destruction of the man. Our emotion is the seed of our creation and the seed of our demise, and only comes because we are attached to the dimension of physicality of life on this planet. And once we are detached from it, even in the body of the man, in the depth of the space, we'll have no cancer. We have nothing to kill us, because we are nothing but joyful soul that travels the span of the universe, has no need and has nothing to be afraid to lose, as is a giver itself. So if you understand this, you understand how come you're sometimes zero at the same time as you are one, and how come you're a soul on your own, and sometimes you're a manifestation of soul and a reflection of the soul of the planet. Is the fields of the environment and the reflection and interaction of the soul of the man with that environment. When you're a soul traveling the sun of the universe, the only reflection is the fields of the Creator. When you are on earth, you have to double mirror it, which is one you.
Hello, Mr. Kish. Not currently able to hear you.
We are back. Sorry about this. We're in a very dodgy area at the moment this week. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Then we understand why we are in the condition of the creation and reflection of our environment as much as manifestation of the soul of the man. Our soul reflects the image, emotion of the man with the creator and his creator, the interaction of his soul of physicality, which we call the spirit of the man, and the interaction of the two with the earth creates the upright man the way we are. And on the other hand, we have the same position. As I said, our reproduction area, if you look at the dog, the soul is one end, the heart is in the middle, and reproduction is on the other end. And then the interaction of the three fields gives you a dog. You 10 man, upright, the spirit of the man, the center of the topical, sits below the brain of the man, and you get a tall man because his reproduction, third one, is straight down the same line. We are reflectors of the universal fields, and how we bend the mirror is how we manifest it.
Are you still there, Mr. Kish? Hello, we're not able to hear you currently. Hello, Mr. Kish. We're not able to hear. Hello. Bear with us, folks. Well,
just bear with me. We
yes.
just gotta change more servers, see if we can still sit with this server. Just 1 second, I have to change. Oh, we never. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
Okay, let's
Ok,
see.
mi sentite adesso? Sì, ti sentiamo chiaramente?
Stefania, we
sorry.
hear you now. Hello.
Ah,
Hello.
ok, scusate. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Okay, I'm gonna switch off. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
I don't know why this happens only to the Italians and only to her. That's the mystery.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no comment.
No comment. We just call it Stefania. Okay, any other question? Sorry about the system today. We are in move and everything is upside down.
Okay.
That was a very strange answer by Mike Anderson.
Okay, we have a question from Richard here in our Q&A, who says, after physical death, does the soul have access to all the memories and experiences from the physical life it lived? Would the soul be able to, pardon me?
Yes.
Would the soul be able to access memories that the person could no longer consciously remember while alive? For example, forgotten childhood memories experiences that have been completely forgotten, or even every dream the person had ever experienced? And is it possible to remove, alter, suppress, or transform memories within the soul? Or are all memories and experiences of the physical life permanently preserved within the soul?
I have a very bad news for you. Man suffers two kinds of Alzheimer's. One is a physical Alzheimer, and one is the Alzheimer of the soul for the physical body. In a way, in our physical world, we remember everything from our childhood, blah, 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 blah. But we forget we have a soul which is working in another dimension and remembers everything about the universe. So when we die, or when we finish with the physical world, that knowledge which man gained in the process of physical life adds to that knowledge which the soul was gathering during the time when you thought you were asleep and you're dreaming, and the rest of it. So in reality, we have access only to part of that memory. We chose that. We never hardly tap in the memory of the soul. We tap in the dimension of physicality, which we call the memory of the man. But at all time, once that condition is created, doesn't matter, you blow a candle on your birthday, the 5th birthday, and you remember your mom kissed you, you remember that kiss, that stays in that memory till the day your soul is alive across the universe. It's part of its fields. And whatever your soul did while you were sleeping, it still stays in the memory of the soul, even though you don't remember it in the dimension of physicality. Man has the knowledge of physicality. The soul has the knowledge of the universe. And once man learns how to cross the two, man will have every knowledge of the creation. As the knowledge of physicality is available to man, the knowledge of universe is available to the soul of the man. No one in the universe has an English language, translation systems, and everything else, because they all speak through the dimension of the fields of the universe, and they all understand each other. Knowledge is free, energy is free, everything else free through the dimension of the universe. And everything is payable to the dimension of physicality of the man. And once you understand this, you will see there is no Alzheimer's even in the dimension of the physicality of the man if you go to the soul of the man. It'll tell you how the first milk you suckle from the breath of your mother tasted, because it created an emotion in you, even though you were not aware of it. We are schizophrenic creatures which only remember who is present and speaking today, and we ignore the other one within us. But that one sees everything, has access to everything, and no knowledge is hidden from it. If mankind could understand the beauty of the creation and the creator, man will never do what is doing on this planet. Any other question?
Okay, well, Paulo has a couple of questions here. Let's see. He said previous questions in the last couple of workshops. He says, perhaps I did not express my previous question clearly. I was not simply comparing the military power of Iran, the USA, and Israel. I was asking how military power becomes political power, and why superior military power does not necessarily produce a political victory. You have also spoken about brainwashing and limitations imposed on human research and understanding. So I wonder, when a population changes its political perception after a conflict, how can we distinguish a genuinely organic change in collective consciousness from one produced by propaganda or psychological manipulation? If the regional balance of power is now changing, could this create a new political alignment based on sovereignty rather than dependence on external military protection? And if so, could the Keshe Foundation World Peace Treaty help prevent a change of homogeny from simply becoming another form of homogeny? I would be very interested in understanding the mechanism connecting military power, political power, collective consciousness, and peace. Thank you, Professor. Do you need me to repeat that?
I understand the gist of it. I understand what he's trying to tell us. I think I answered you last week, but you didn't understand it. You understood different part of it the way you wanted to listen. Military power in the history of the man has created domination that the political power goes with it. When we've seen how it has shifted, if you look at the 1940s, 1930s, and just prior to that, England was the mighty power. Everything was in pound. And when the Americans came to help the British with the First World, Second War, so their money had to be used, dollar became more dominant. Now we see emergence of the yuan, the Chinese money, because politically, economically, they can enforce their dimension into it. And we've seen the fall and rise of these kind of things over and over again over the recent history of man in the past 2,000 years. When we introduce a coin like cash coin, we have no military connection, we have no political connection, and we gain a lot of respect and work through the individuals. You'll be amazed what we hear, what is going through the corridors of European governments regarding Keshe Foundation. We have created a massive fear. We have created fear amongst and within the American administration. I'll explain to you how. They see a parallel, but nationalistic side of it has created a problem for them. We put a fixed coin currency, and we see the White House has copied it. Other governments cannot accept it, because then if you go for a fixed currency, the 36, 38, 39 trillion debt stays 39 trillion. You have to use a fluctuation currency or coin that with playing with this fluctuation, you write your debts off. American copied the Keshe Foundation. It's become a presidential decree, but they will not be able to deliver it because they have a political agenda. We deliver it because we have no political agenda. We have a peace agenda. And it will be carried by the people and not by politics. We carry no arms, but we have the most advanced military capabilities in the arsenal of the man. You can kill a man, you can dominate the man, imprison it. This technology frees the soul of the man, doesn't know physicality. This is one of the biggest fear of the government regarding the Keshe Foundation. This is where the peace work will work. This is where you don't need to rely on military power or political power. And Going back to what I said last week, and I'll try to explain a little bit more. Look at how one of the most mightiest power of today, leaving China aside, which is trying to match, you shouldn't have done that. China should have stayed neutral and spent more money on the research development and other technologies than trying to match the Americans. The Iranian military has brought the most powerful nation on its knees. Literally, what called himself the superior power. Soldiers are killing themselves, jumping off the ship. Mutinies on the board of most powerful aircraft carriers because they can't feed them. This army marches on its stomach. But they have nothing to defend itself. What we call fair coats and no knickers. This is a well-known saying in English. I wear a fur coat even with all the infestation and fleas in it because once upon a time I could afford it. But today I can't even afford to even wear a knicker, so I carry that fur coat as I'm rich. But in fact, there is nothing in it. Political power, military power of one of the most powerful nations in the world has come to an end. And it came to a prompt end, and they walked themselves into it to do it. Very soon, I'll give you an example of how, without you Americans knowing, your president has signed a defeat in the war. Even though they're trying to say they're victorious. By obligation, by position I have, and the knowledge in our hand and as advisors, one day I explained to you how suddenly, promptly, American war stopped against Iran. And in that stopping it, the whole structure inside the American government is destroyed. As I said, as you all know, when the president of the most powerful nation on this planet has to escape in the what we call food basket with the meats and the rubbish from an aircraft to hide to fly, when he was in Istanbul, and he leaves his crew and he leaves his cabinet behind, that if it's hit, they die, it shows there is no leadership. We all know what I'm talking about. American president, in attending NATO, entered Air Force One from the front, and he was taken through the back through a rubbish container carrying literally the use, if you know how they bring the what we call toilet rolls in and out and the rubbish out of the aircraft when they feed you. He was carried in a rubbish bin box into another aircraft that he might not be killed. They had a fear that the Air Force One will be attacked, and he allowed all his cabinet to go on it and get slaughtered if it happened. He had no respect for himself. That's why his spokesman resigned, and other people resigned around him. The most powerful president in the world, military, had to escape in a rubbish bin to survive. You remember the story of Trojan horse? Now they call it the rubbish president. He had to be taken out with the rubbish of the Air Force One. And then you understand how military force has no power force unless you conduct everything the correct way. We see the same problems rising very rapidly within the Chinese and their work and their interaction with the rest of the world, but in a deeper way, in a more common way in certain ways, but this can be corrected. Chinese haven't gone that far yet. But we see a lot of things that, in conjunction bringing Cheshcoin in operation, all these military forces and the what we call political powers become meaningless because everybody has, nobody can do. The introduction of production of the materials systems, which you will see like a microwave in very near future. You have the 3D printers. You'll have the same kind of machines that you produce if you want to make a screw in the house to do a job. You have no metal. The material, the system will produce is metals where you give it a screw, the combination you like. We have had a major development in research of the Keshe Foundation in the past 48 hours that will change a lot of things for the Keshe Foundation and for you lot in creation of materials, in creation of power and energy. Our research has turned up one of the secrets of the universe. We knew it. It was just confirming it. It took 20 years to confirm this. And as I said, what we developed in that Coca-Cola bottle now has become a technology beyond imagination. And very soon we will show this technology. Hold on to your ganses, and through it you'll find energy the same as the energy you get from the sun. From it, if you know how to use it, you'll get everything you need to live the dimension of the soul of the man. It's a major breakthrough, a massive major breakthrough. Quantum physics is through the window. Nuclear physics is ended. There is no need for fusion. There is no need for transportation. We have accessed the energy, conversion of the energy of the magnetic fields in motion. And it's a massive major breakthrough in the past 48 hours from one of the research centers of the Keshe Foundation. This shortcuts a lot of our work even by years. And as I said to my team, I'm back in the lab very soon because this technology we discovered, we understood, changes everything the Keshe Foundation and even in the past 2 years, let alone past 20 years. We've been searching for this to understand it, and now we understood. And it goes back to the essence of the creation. Depends how you turn that mirror. Now we understand the subject. And then when you have access to such technology, no military and political power has any meaning. There is no politics. Peace does not bring with itself politics. Any other question?
Okay, good. We had a question in YouTube from Zay, I believe it would be. Is Iran going to be an early supporter of the new Keshe structure? Hello, you're breaking up there, Mr. K.
I said silence.
Oh, okay. That's why we didn't hear.
You got to understand, we are committed to peace and we work with any nation. And we have learned over the past 20 years how to deal with nations. And something very interesting has happened in past year. And once this completes itself, Iran will emerge as one of the 3 superpowers in the position of the technology, not military. We got to understand that Russia is on the verge of, if the British push a little bit harder in Ukraine, we will see the end of Kremlin. It's disastrous what's happening. The only option left for Kremlin is nuclear warhead. Literally, especially in past 2 months since the British have walked away from the Americans and only British ammunition is used with the help of Germans in Ukraine. Disasters are heavy. We've seen the annihilation of the power of America. They don't even have, if North Korea decides to attack America, they have nothing to defend themselves with. Literally nothing. Everything was used in Iran with the false promises of Netanyahu. And crushing defeat on America in the past 3 weeks, which you Americans are not supposed to know, has brought Mr. Trump to sign whatever Iran wants. Is for the Iranian leadership to say how literally pinned this guy down. He is even scared of his own shadow to travel in his own country as a president of the most powerful nation on earth. You know, we all know what the Versailles Treaty was a Ghent treaty was in 19th century. The new peace treaty is the total defeat for the American government and the end of the superpower. When they explain how it was done, Israel was pinpointed to the wall, knowing one more bomb will do it up. While they were pinned to the wall, the American administration was pinned to the ground. There's no option but to agree, complete what we call the peace treaty fully on the terms of Iran. If you are victorious, you don't sign on somebody else's term. Victorious team, or what they call nation, always has dictated the terms. And what we see coming out of the United States, every demand of Iran will be met. There is no choice. And what's come out of the new negotiation, or the Iranian assets relief, what we call released, everything else will be done, and it will be the end of what we call United States as a superpower. And we'll see a lot of things, a lot of changes. This treaty, as in the communication I was talking to a politician, is worse than the surrender of Germany in the Second World War, the way America has surrendered. And with it, Israel has finished. There's 2 options. Russia using nuclear weapon on Ukraine, or America using nuclear weapon on Iran. And both of them are out of question at this one time, but anything can happen. When the cat is cornered, depends what it does. But the American president has been cornered to accept defeat on the terms of Iran. And with that will go a lot of things. And automatically China becomes the only superpower in the world. We'll see and how it will take shape, but as far as we know, America has accepted total defeat in this war, which they created, and the only winner has been Trump's family signing 4 or 5 trillion contracts with everybody around. If they can complete the contracts, it's a different matter. You soon understand. Don't look at the American, European news, and look at what they don't tell you in that news. Any other question?
Okay, we have a hand up here. Let's see, I think it might be Filippo. Hello, can you go ahead?
Hello.
KFSSI host.
Hello,
Yes.
everybody.
It's Filippo, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Cash. My question today is, you talk about ionization by emotion. So, lower strain emotion create a certain type of ionization in a certain part of the body. So, from what I understood, my question is, this ionization made by lower strain emotion is kind of create a kind of sun inside in the body, kind of black hole.
No, you understood it totally wrong.
Okay.
It's no such thing. You go back to understanding what we call nuclear physics, then you understand what talking the what we call biologists understand what I'm talking about, but we'll see. No, it's not that term. You have to understand the term of the nuclear, bionuclear, then you understand how it works.
Because I thought is a kind of interaction more close to the inertia, maybe. That
No.
Okay. I got it. Thank you, Mr.
Something very interesting. According to the holy books, again, we go back to the holy books. Sometimes around last week of October this year, and again next year, is the beginning end of the what we call the cycle of human race. And this is what is in the holy books and everything else. And this last week of what we call date is on 28, 27, 28, 29th of October of this year. And as the Jews were waiting for the Saturday to start the beginning of the end, that Saturday, which was the promised Saturday, became the end of Israel. I'll explain this, what happens. One day I explained, at this moment we've been asked to keep quiet about it, how the promised day that'll be the end of the state of Iran and the Jews were supposed to finish, that they lost the biggest war. Exactly on that Saturday. And is in the what we call holy books, that the most powerful nation in the world will go down because of it, and we've seen the Americans gone. The second part of this prophecy was to complete that by 28, 29th of, or 27, 28, 29th of the October of this year, there'll be manifestation of the Messiah. This is what it was all for. We've seen the end of the what we call state of Israel as was supposed to be, and you understand what happened at the end of the American superpower behind it. And strange enough, if you look at your screens, today is a Thursday, the what we call 20th of August, and the 29th of October falls on 666 teaching of the Keshe Foundation. A strange coincidence. Today on your 656, and 10 weeks from now, falling on the 28th, 29th, becomes 666, the 3 6s. very coincidental.
That's about 1 in 10 trillion billion for that to manifest on that date, I would say.
Now you understand more. Now we have to see what happens.
Are you sure you didn't plan all this 15 years ago, Mr. Cash? 12 years ago when you started these workshops? Let me see, I'll have to start it today because it's going to be, you know. No, I don't think so. We never planned that far ahead.
We never even planned the teachings. Sometimes we've been for 12, 13 years. Huh? I would say I don't know what's going on with you. Many of you have been in teachings with me in sessions while it's been the teaching time. We don't carry no pen and no paper. But look at the coincidences of the 3 sixes and the date given by our, what you call the holy structures. On the day when Israel was planned everything to go to the war that night, on Saturday a few weeks ago, with our work, whatever, aircrafts, many aircrafts flown halfway from America in the direction of Iran, turned around and went back. Because they realized the gravity of what is about to happen. A week later, we stopped the same process because they were like wounded dogs. And since then, they're pinned to the wall with it. But the most strangest thing is what's going to happen in the 666th teaching on the day of the manifestation of the Messiah. This is in the holy book of Jewish books. Let's see if it comes through. Any other question?
Okay, let me see here. We have a question from Jefferson Modesto from Brazil, who says, thank you very much for your presence among us. If I understood correctly, the breathing exercises you taught us are intended to allow us to harness the energy of CO2 and nitrogen from the air and thus nourish the soul. My question is, would it be possible to enhance the effects of these exercises by using dynamic reactors containing CO2 GANs, nitrogen GANs, or others?
The gases are not there for your joy. These fields are there for absorption of the universal field. In the body of the man, it's very hard to create carbon-14 to connect man to the world of the universe, to creation. And one of the nearest isotopes to it, the construction of the plasma, is carbon-14, or what we call nitrogen. When you change the composition of the carbon-12 in the process of exhale, which comes from the lung of the man, you create carbon-14, you connect to the universal energy. And that's the work, nothing else. Where you have carbon-12 connected to the dimensional physicality of the man, to the amino acid of the man, with a common denominator as the same protons, but the different combination of the fields. And nitrogen is carbon-14, connects you to the universal energy. Then when you have that connection, the energy balance is between the strongest and the weakest. You have oxygen and a hydrogen one. That's where the game is played. That's where you absorb energies of the universe according to what body of the man needs. 4 times 16 is 56, connects you to the soul of the field strength of the planet. The 16 and its combination of the work is connection of the soul of the man to the planet Earth, which gives the manifestation of the physicality of the man. The hydrogen is the field of the creator. You communicate on AM in the body of the man, carbon 12, and then you work with FM in connection with the universe with carbon 14, you call it nitrogen. And if you understand how to convert it, then this is how the system works. You understood the key. But there's a way, if you play the right way, you can eliminate the carbon 12, that the body of the man works in the dimension of carbon 14 or the nitrogen, which allows the soul of the man to transmute. But this is maybe next 2 or 3 years we teach you how. The carbon 12 is which is keeping you to this planet. Nitrogen is the game of the universe. This is why 65% of the air you breathe is nitrogen, is your connection to the universe. But you like it to call it nitrogen, so let it be. Yeah.
Yes, we have a hand up with Azar. Would you like to go ahead, please, Azar? Hello?
Good morning, Miss.
You're breaking up, Azar.
It's okay.
We can just hear you. Chop,
Yeah.
chop, 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 chop.
Good morning.
We can't hear you. Good morning, Azarjan. How are you? Hello? Hello?
Not able to hear you, Azar.
Hello? Azar is in Iran. She's in Tehran at the moment.
Miss Akash, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? I hear you chop chop, but probably it's not a good time to ask a question. Hold on a second, Mr. Akash.
Now we have silence, Azar.
There's a problem with the communication with Iran. She's in Tehran.
She says maybe I postpone my question for later.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, let's carry on then.
So, okay, carry
on. Antonio asks, when the human race evolves and manages to feed only with cosmic rays, will animals also no longer kill for food? Can you explain how this will happen?
We're all connected in the field. When they say the man and the lion and the lamb will sleep in the same den, it's when we feed the soul of them. Once learns in the direct process and give it freely, the rest will pick up on it, because they're all tuned to it, they all have one connection. The key has been to create a balance, and temporarily the key sits in how we change the fields on the surface of this planet, just enough for a few meters where the human race lives, and then the rest will follow. When you turn one magnet, all the other magnets change. That's the key. When the first soul voluntarily changes, the whole creation of created souls on this planet will change. Any other question?
Okay, we do have a question from Nugent, I believe it might be pronounced, who says, to date we know of 4 energy conduction systems in the human body. The number 1, the blood circulation system, which is visible. Number 2, the lymphatic system, which is visible. Number 3, the myelin and nerve brain system, which is visible. And number 4, the meridian system, energy conduction according to the concept of traditional Eastern medicine known in China, Japan, Vietnam, etc. This system is invisible. Mr. Kesh, what do you say about the meridian system, and how does it differ from energy conduction systems number 2 and 3 above?
Can you repeat that?
Number 1 was the blood circulation system. Number 2 was the lymphatic system. And number 3, the myelin nerve brain system, which he says are all visible. Number 4 is the meridian system, which is known in Eastern medicine, which is invisible. So what do you say about the meridian system? How does it differ from the lymphatic and myelin system?
The interaction of them in the shape and the form creates a point reference for the energy in that position. Meridians are created that way. Because of the flow of the blood and its position it creates its own meridian. But when you look at the cavity of the hip, because of the fields in that area, they create their own center. When you call a meridian, if you understand what it means, what you talk about, is a mini soul for that area. Central control as energy without the matter. That's all it is. Just put a name on it, make it complicated, then you made yourself your own religion. But that's all it is. You have the hip, the lowest one. They create your sexual organs, have a special powerful characteristics, and when they are, the energy fields, they create their own meridian. Then you have the organs, the fields of them, not the physicality of them, needs a central point that they all work with. This is why if you shoot directly, it's proven scientifically, if you can change a meridian, you can kill. Your whole system collapses. And all our meridians are not exactly the same, depends on your shape. Your meridian moves according how fat you get, how thin you get, how your body moves, because the mass moves and the amount of magnetic field changes. When you get one meridian slightly micromillimeter moving because of your obesity, your blood pressure, whatever, you put the other ones in danger. They have to adjust. So when they tell you meridian, it's the center of energy of all the physical. It's in a way the spirit of your stomach, let's say. It's the spirit of your hip or your sexual organ. This the one meridian number, this and that. Change the meridian to a spirit, if you understand. We call this heart the spirit. That's all it is. It's non-physical central energy fields where they interact, and through it they find their position. So I think you can answer the rest of it yourself. Make it complicated, You make it look very clever. Make it simple. We all understand nobody's clever than others. Just we have to understand the principle, and that's all it is. The meridian is the central energy of the organs of that part. Then what's all these things, the European, the Chinese, and the rest? Nerves have their own system for the energy transfer. They are connected to other nerves branches of arm or leg or stomach. When it comes to the total energy fields of all the blood vessels, tissues, neural system of the stomach, there's one point which becomes central control in a way everybody shares. We like to have it there, then we know where we are, how it moves. If one moves, the other one has to move the other one. So change the meridian to your spirit of the stomach or the spirit of your soul or central energy of the physical components, then that's all it is. As Mr. Wim de Grave, the bastard son of the King of Belgium, said to me on the table, Mr. Keshe, you write things so simple. Make it complicated that people don't understand, then we can make money out of it. I said, Wim, I write in the language that the man in the back villages of Africa cannot be abused by a white man like you. Because we all understand the truth, we understand the language. Extremely fat man. He is the image of his father, Wim de Grave, one of the directors of 3M and 3 of the organization of the Belgian monarchy in stealing from their own nation. And yet,
Okay, thank you.
father. Let me explain. The great grandfather of Wim de Grave, or the King of Belgium, is the one who paid every day thousands of Africans in Congo to be cut from their arms and their legs and everything else if they didn't achieve what he wanted. These people are ruthless, and it's in their blood. And then when he collected the money, he sold the part he divided to his own nation. Then ask yourself a question, which king sells the land of a nation to a nation to get money for it? But you have to thank him. He paid for the patents that you lot have the knowledge on the patent of the Keshe Foundation. What you call the poison pen, the money paid by the Belgian monarchy for the patent of the Keshe Foundation to be registered. Very strange, iconic, and ironic. He paid Wim de Grave, or the royal family of the Belgium, paid the Red Circle for writing the patent, and they paid for the European patent because they wanted to be done that they could steal it. Because he brought the fluorescence to write the patent. Any other question? Now you know a little bit about the history of the Keshe Foundation. When you hold the patent of the Keshe Foundation that you lot and the future generation has a reference point for knowledge, thank the royal family of Belgium for paying it and finding somebody who would write the knowledge. is that basket with the baby in it, which they all feared, and then at the end became the Moses, which sank the whole kingship. Very interesting. Now we gotta wait when this knowledge will sink the monarchies, as they paid for it to become. We searched all the patent offices in Europe, somebody to write a patent about the Keshe Foundation, the knowledge. We paid, I think, €3,500 20 years ago to one of the biggest patent offices in Europe, in Brussels. They spent 3 months, 4 months, whatever they did, and they came back and said they cannot be, and nobody can write a patent for this technology. We have nobody. So give our money back. Sorry, we did our work, but we couldn't find anybody. So if you do your work, you get paid. And one of the founders of the Keshe Foundation, his name is on the document somewhere, he said, there's a company called, we went to see IMEC in their offices. I think it's in Maryland, if I could remember correctly. And we entered a room, I think must have been about 10 meters long, maybe 20 meters long, I don't know. It was very long. I've never seen a room so long. But about 2, 3 meters wide. It was a very strange room with a table in the middle of it. I walked in with the notary of the Keshe Foundation, one of the most trusted men in Keshe Foundation. And by the way, if I die, he's the only one who carries my will and my testaments, what to be done. We sat with him and one of the first supporters of the Keshe Foundation, first knowledge seekers. And there were 4 people sitting across the table. And they asked me, can you explain the technology? I explained, and this fat guy got up and he started pacing this 10 meter up and down. He got me not nervous, but I didn't like his behavior. I said, can you sit down? He said, we've been saying, we've been talking recently, whatever, that somebody soon will discover how to create gravity, and there'll be the end of the knowledge. And you walk in and you're done. What do you want? I explained to him, we paid these people, we can't write a patent. He said, I know someone. He can write a patent. I said, we paid this company to control 80-85% of the patent offices in Europe. He said, no, there's one guy who can write it. We arranged the time. They came to our house in Belgium. Tables, big tables, piled up a meter. Some places, so we couldn't keep it on the table. We had to put the document references on the floor because we brought this. Everything which was said was referenced scientifically from other scientific papers to back that we are correct. And this guy walked around the table. He went through the pages. He saw all the research papers. And listened to explanation. He says, I can write a patent. His name was Dirk Lorenz. And Ben de Grave said to him, you write the patent, I pay for your time, and we pay for the patent. We said, we are not short of paying. He says, no, we want to pay for the patent because this patent has to be written. And this is how the first patent was written. And when we submitted the first patent, a few weeks later, I went to the Belgian patent office to submit the second patent. It was a medical, not the miniature energy system. It was very much medical. When I came out of the patent office, it was a corner pile of papers. And I saw my original patent on top of it. And I said, what is this doing here? Oh, it's waiting to go to the patent office. Our scientists have been reading it to assess if it can go for patent registration. That will be learned from it. So the Belgians had a good go at it. And then the pattern was paid for, first for Belgium and then the European. And we went to Den Haag with Dirk Loris. I said, I have to go to Den Haag because the board of European Patent Office has asked us to go. Says, I'm coming, I'm a patent writer. I said, okay, no problem, we go. We went to Den Haag 2-3 times by the request of the European Patent Office. And in the first meeting with the European Patent Office, there were one British nuclear physicist, 2 Italian nuclear physicists. One of the Italian nuclear physicists was heading the meeting. It was his job to see this patent. I spent quite some time explaining the science behind the technology, the patent. That time, patent had, I think, about 10, very few, less than a few tens of claims. The British nuclear physicist, Mr. Kesh, you're a British trained nuclear physicist. I've been asked by the British government to be present for this because this patent is very revolutionary. The Italian patent officers, I've been appointed by the Italian government nuclear to look into this. And I had this because this is a big change. He said, your patent is written the wrong way. I said, what do you mean? He says, this, you have discovered gravity. You have discovered the whole revolution in the science we've been looking for. But it's written the wrong way. You cannot claim a natural phenomena the way you written your patent. I said, I'm the scientist, I know the knowledge. He's the patent writer, you have to tell him how you want to be done. And they spent quite some time. We went for the second time to Den Haag with him. And they explained how this patent has to be written, that it has a value of money. And then it was approved for the Belgian patent. And then they told us how to, they trained Dirk Loris, so explained to him how he has to write a patent. And this patent, through the claim of European patent, it became 340 claims, one of the biggest in Europe. No patent has been submitted up to that time. For this much, because there was so many claims, but now it was 300 claims on the same patent. Then they changed the policy. Now in European patent, charges are done by the claims, by the claims you have, because of this patent. And this patent was written, and it was accepted. Going through the process of acceptance, we opened the patent to world population free by giving it to the government. And this is how the patent was written. And this is the history of it. I've said that many times. This knowledge, this patent, is that Moses in the basket. That child in that basket brought the king down, and his nightmare of by slaughtering all the scientists, all the male creatures, that nobody will be there, that he loses his kingdom. This technology is paid by a king. And it's that Moses basket which bring the kingdom of man down. And funny enough, when the patent was submitted, this is why the king of Belgium came to that little remote in the mountain, exactly how what heaven do. Go into the mountain, bring a tablet. The king came to see the messenger. And you've seen the photos of it. And he's still lost. About this time, not much far, on a Sunday afternoon, I was explained this before for those of you who are new knowledge seekers. I was sitting in a cafe. Everybody in that area in mountains of eastern Belgium knew who I am, and I'm writing the fourth book. It was like people everybody knew in a little cafe. I saw a dog, a small dog next to me on the floor. Oh, I thought, oh, you're a nice dog. I saw a woman next to me standing, very dignified woman, and she said, hello, Mr. Cash. I said, yes, hello. She says, I'm the Queen of Belgium. I said, Your Majesty. She don't let me stand up. She said, sit down. We have to sit with you. You don't need to stand up. He said, the king wants to speak to you. He sat down. We had a tea and a coffee, or whatever it was there, herb or tea. And he made his threat. And I said to him, Your Majesty, please wait a minute. I'll come back. That time, the 3 books, book 1, 2, and 3 of the Keshe Foundation were written, and they were in the back of my car. I always had a few copies because we had knowledge, because they were asking whatever. I went to the car, I brought the 3 books. I said, the kingship, Your Majesty. The only thing I can give is not my knowledge, but I can give you my books. I signed the 3 books to the King of Belgium. And I gave him the 3 books. He gave it to his bodyguard. That was that day. I came back the following day to carry on writing my book. The lady who I used to see frequently coming shopping bread or getting herbal medicine, whatever, from the shop, he said, Mr. Cash. I said, yes. He said, when the king came to see you, me and my friend were sitting and we heard all the threats. And we decided we have taken pictures of him sitting with you. And I put it on this little chip. This is yours. And this is where we have the copies. We released the pictures of the King of Belgium and Queen of Belgium. The king came to ask for his kingdom not to go down. And I told him, I go, you go, king. He said, I'm the King of Belgium. The February of that next year, I escaped on the 13th of February to Italy to save my life, not knowing that my wife betrayed me. And I said to him, when I go, you go. And he abdicated the same year, a few months later. I went and he left. He's not a king. And amazing enough, where we escaped to, in part of Italy, is the homeland of the Queen of Belgium. We didn't know she was Italian from that point. And then again, assassination, poisoning, and the rest of it between the Belgians and the Belgians. The history of the Keshe Foundation. The king tried to stop that child to be born, and that child in the basket became his demise. Same with this religion, but this time it's the demise of the kingship on this point. Any other question?
Well, thank you for that history. We have a question from Theodora, who says, does recognizing that we are made in the image of the Creator mean renouncing the self that seeks supreme truth? Is union the liberation from the fear of rejection? Does accepting everything, accepting the other, mark the end of our beliefs about the world? Could discovering that everything is a secret joker linked to the immense magical beauty of love experienced within be the moment of instant enlightenment and transmutation? Is this true peace?
You call it whatever you like. If it brings you peace, if it brings you understanding of your life, that's all it counts. The wisdom of life is the purpose of the teachings and nothing else. And it has to be done by a person itself, not by anybody else. Any other question?
Okay.
Shall we call it a day?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done here. There's a couple of leftover questions, but it's not pressing. So
Tell us one more and there we go.
Okay, let me see here. A question about chronic fatigue. Can it be related to a deficiency in the 80% of the energy we receive from the universe? How can we repair the route through which we receive this energy?
Chronic MS, FMS, or whatever you call it, is the physical side of the energy, not to do with what we receive. What we receive is always the same, nothing changes. The gift, the beauty, the bounty from the Creator is equal to all. It's us who puts up that barrier, what we don't want to receive. So it is nothing to do with the 80%. It's what we refuse to receive from that 80% that brings us to that point. And it's all connected to the emotion. So we refuse the love, and not the love is given. Have you ever tried to kiss your child and says, I don't want to kiss? Your kiss today, your kiss tomorrow, your kiss next year, and when the child is 18 and 20, it's still the same kiss as the love of the father. It's the child who refuses it according to his wish and how clever he thinks it is. And it's the same with the Creator. You create your own cancer, the 80% doesn't stop coming. You play with the 20%. That's why chemicals and food additives and these things create cancer. You play with the 20%, but the 80% has never stopped, never changed. Yeah, we call it a day.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much. Please start registering your businesses, your shops, or your cakes in the house, or your brooms you make, or your painting, and sell it in cash coin and see how much. Don't be too greedy, because these people have only $2,500 a month to spend. Look after yourself and see you next week.
I see Dean has raised his hand. Would you take a question?
Oh, he's still alive. Good. Hi, Dan.
Go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon, Mr. Kesh.
Are you okay?
Good morning, Mr. Kesh. Good morning.
Hi.
Mr. Kesh, you've brought up so many incredible topics again today. You reached back into the knowledge of the foundation. You've taken us to the pinnacle of creation. What more is there? One thing I would say,
we haven't even started yet.
I know. I've interacted with you guys and the foundation and the souls, all these beautiful souls. And one thing I've come to realize, you do see the future. You know what's going to happen before it happens. And I've witnessed this and been part of this for quite some time now, and I know it's so. So what's going to happen to the position on this planet if the governments, if the world leaders, if the people, if the souls do not interact in the correct manner? What is the destiny of humanity and all the creatures that are present here? We know that eventually that we're going to go into the sun, and the matter state changes. But what about the condition before that? The generational conditions that are going to create wealth within and beauty for humanity and all the created creatures. Where's that going to be, Mr. Kesh, if we don't do it?
Energies of the creator are nomads of the universe. So they don't live on Earth, and the energy is created somewhere else. And the future of humanity sits with how the humanity understands the cycle of creation and how it moves before it's moved. And at the end of it, we all become energies, what we call the soul. But do we get evicted by force, or we travel by will? That's the two differences. Not only us, but our future generation. What comes as part of us?
What should it be, Mr. Kesh? Really? What is the definition of it?
Short term, man will go through a cycle of peace. Man will come to the point of maturity to accept peace. Long term, those who leave this planet will find peace in the universe. Those who decide to stay here, they last a few thousand years and they go back again to the ground. The inventions of the man today will be scars on the face of this planet. Be it the refineries, be it the ships, be it the gun, the schools, and everything else we create. And future generations in thousands of years again, they'll find these and say, oh, there was a civilization. We are a family of people, what I call the three generation. The father makes, the child tries to hold on to, and the grandchild destroys everything the two made and hold on to. We are going through that cycle of making rich in knowledge. And then many of us will leave this planet. Many of us. Those few who are left behind will go through the cycle of destroying themselves because they cannot reach, they cannot understand how to survive. And then we go back to that no man land. And then becomes a story of pyramids. Someone finds what we built, what is left, and then say, oh, man had a knowledge. What did they do with the aliens? We become aliens of our own great children because they go through the third cycle. And this is not the first time which has happened on this planet. That won't be the last time. And the whole structure is to next cycle, even in thousands of years from now, or when a man leaves this planet, stops that self-destruction of the others. If our generations in 1,000 years to come will not kill and understand how to live all together the way it's supposed to be, then we find them land of honey and milk. Otherwise, they go through the same cycle. Chinese, I think, have found steel pipes deep in the grounds from 11,000 years ago. So man had the knowledge to make pipes. Man had knowledge to make machinery much better than today's quantum systems. We have them even in different shape or forms. We have discovered. But it's a cycle. We are now reaching that father who works hard and become rich, waiting for our children and grandchildren in thousands of years to destroy everything and start again. But this time we're trying to ingrain it in the soul of the man that the killing part doesn't come, doesn't matter where man resides.
Mr. Kess, the killing part. So that's the bit where I think humanity, so they understand not to use weapons to kill and things, but when it comes to consuming, eating, humanity, this learning curve is steep for humanity. And find this a difficult one to overcome.
It's not. It's just that we got a habit to put something in our mouth. If you shut that hole, a lot of it will change.
Yeah, but many people find that a very difficult, I personally find that a very difficult thing to overcome.
It is not difficult. It is not difficult. It's just getting used to it. You offer, it's a very strange, you offer an Italian girl from north of Italy a drop of water between breakfast and lunch. It's like you're giving them a knife to kill them. Because they lose the shape and then they want to eat something. You offer them food from lunchtime to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just to give them a poison. They want to keep the shape, you know, that Italian body. And they go through the torture of it. And they got used to it. Even though when you look at their face, it's all tortured face. You lived in Italy, you know. I lived there 6 years. I've analyzed their faces, how they do. You go to south of Italy, they're all fat and happy because all the fruit comes from the south, all fresh. The human, to, in a way, you call it fasting or reduce eating, is normal. Yeah, the beginning is very difficult, but once you get used to it, it's as normal as ABC. I used to eat breakfast and lunch and dinner and all made up to be, you have to have 3 courses. Nowadays, 1 course sometimes goes over 30 hours. Don't feel it. Unless I get a headache, I do. And I never thought you can do this. I'm sure if we train, we can extend. Once a week, then once a month, because then we rely on the energy from outside. The only good thing had for me, I had to, lose a lot of weight. But it gets to the point that you can't lose anymore. That's the minimum you stick to. But you can. You can. I've done this for nearly 2 years now, 2 years. You can do it.
I've done it, Mr. Kesh. I know what you speak about because I've gone through those. One moment the emotions overtake and you eat different things and consume it, and it's the emotion. As soon as you balance that out, then you're starting to receive the other energies, and from the foundation, from the other souls that are present, from the technology. I know it works. I've felt it many times both ways. And it is linked 100% to the emotion.
Yeah, but you have to control. You have to control that emotion.
Yeah, this is the difficult thing.
You have to control. Yeah, not to control. You have to understand. Once you understand something, you don't need to work for it. This is the hardest part. I always say to my children, if you understand, you don't need to remember.
Do we understand yet, Mr. Kesh?
A lot of us do.
Sometimes I understand it and I really understand it. Then another time it's sort of, I don't know, you get this, the soul of physicality.
Can I tell you what's wrong with you?
Oh, please, let the world know, please.
You're a human.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're a human. Yeah. This is all it goes back to. You're a human.
Yeah.
There's no much you can do.
That's why I have this. that's why it's difficult to let go, Mr. Kesh, because I know the soul, when the soul was present, I had this amazing experiences. It was quite unbelievable. And it still is, I still get them. But I know the soul has moved to another position, and the soul of physicality is very rooted. How do you get through this with humanity? Because it's such a big learning curve that you're trying to bring forward. It's so huge.
It's huge for you, but it's actually, you know, when you had a class of 100, it's very easy to handle the 10.
Mm-hmm.
Earth is one of the smallest planets in the universe, which carries life.
Yeah, that's what we forget. That's the part that we forget.
And the
That you're
other
dealing with
part
something
is,
much bigger.
I've been the teacher of the 100 class.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not much difficult. Just these slots are a little bit disobedient. That's all. You'll get to it. We understand how. Slowly.
Yeah, it is slowly.
I
Yeah.
hope everything's okay with you. Have you sorted out your problems?
Yeah, it's ongoing. It's the
Ongoing,
all the
as
things
usual.
that happen.
You're a human.
But
Put it that way.
I'm a human. I have to go through. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, absolutely. But the dates, Mr. Kess, that you mentioned, that 666 and everything,
I
and the
haven't
way that's
mentioned
fallen
anything.
into
I
position.
have not mentioned anything. It's just there. It's in the holy books, and I said coincidence is 666.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
in the holy book, 666 is mentioned, connected in some holy books with that date.
yeah, but the connection is that, I mean, you said about my name and the religion and stuff, and I never knew about any of this. And where do I come into this position? With, I didn't ask for this in physicality, but my soul has brought me into this. Before I was with the foundation, I had a very normal life, I suppose, not so normal, but normal, and certain interactions. Now it's very complicated sometimes, very difficult, and very, very
You
difficult.
know why? Because you're tested between the two worlds.
Absolutely. It's
That
so
is the
unbelievable.
part.
Mm-hmm.
That is a part. And if it stays with you 25 years and you have a child, it becomes ingrained in the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see the children of Mitra in 20 years, once man learns how to create.
That's the next thing, Mr. Kesh. So that goes back into theology and the human body, and all the desires that the humans have, and all these things that link us and ground us. It's a very difficult, unless you touch the soul and the soul comes back and really elevates you. It's such an area of space gap, of quantum jumping, leaping to a position that yeah, it's going to be a long, drawn-out process, or in an instant.
It's been going on for billions of years. Don't get excited. On the few years is nothing. Somebody put a black screen, Rick. Everything has disappeared.
Oops.
Yeah. At least in the Zoom section, we just see Mr. Zoom there. Yeah, you see, it's the cycle of life. We have accepted a lot of nonsense, and half of the problem is to cleaning up the nonsense. That's half of the problem. And the other half is accepting the totality and not just the nonsense you thought. Once the humans start accepting both sides of the dimension of the creation, energy and matter state, then 90% of the problems are solved.
How so, Mr. Kesh?
It is education. There is a pattern in the cycle of life of them, and let me explain this in a different way. We know every single billionaire in America, or most of the very rich ones. America has 1,000 billionaires, or some 1,000 a few. and a lot of them are there. China have 1,120, I think, today, or something in that region. China has more billionaires than America. We hardly know any of them. And those who became very famous because of their wealth have disappeared. In America, you're still to become rich to be famous. In China, when you become rich, you hide.
Why so, Mr. Kesh? Why do they hide?
They don't hide because I live my wealth, but I don't need to show it to no one. Because most of these billionaires, you see, their parents were villagers in the villages of east or north of China. They came from nothing. And that attitude in life brings them that way. And this is why Chinese don't know how to handle wealth. You cannot find Chinese. The way we handle wealth in Europe is unheard with the Chinese. And they are trying to bring them to the Americanize them, but it doesn't work. It's not in their nature. I have a very bad habit, which I put things on the table. Because to me, if there is something wrong, if you're stupid, you're stupid. So I tell you, you behave, you're stupid. If you steal, I tell you, you're stolen. Why? In Chinese culture, you can't do that. You cannot humiliate no one because they consider themselves so humble that you don't need to destroy. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the West, we don't have this mentality, and it's very hard to understand. I was one of the meetings with our staff of the K-1. I told them, you don't understand our work, just resign, walk out. And to them, it's a shock. Nobody has told them this. They don't understand, literally don't understand the culture which we have in the West. Openness, we can talk. Here is always fear. In China, is always fear of doing something wrong that you get punished for it, because they've all been punished by the emperors, they've been punished by the ruling party, they've been punished. So in Europe, in America, we do things, and if it goes wrong, we go bankrupt, we start another company. Here, are afraid even of the mistakes the other they made, that they might be connected to them. The fear in Chinese nation is so deep. So deep, it's unbelievable.
That's not a good thing, though, Mr. Kesh. A fear of that creates the wrong field, surely.
They can't live without it. They've been ingrained into it. They cannot do. You cannot take this out of the blood of Chinese. Impossibility. And straightforwardness, the way we talk in the West, I create enemies more than I make friends usually in China. Because of the way we speak. No fear. We understand in what we say we stand for. Chinese don't. You sit with me in some of the meetings of the K-Foundation with the Chinese, especially those who just joined us in different parts.
Excuse me.
I see them. I see the fear in their eyes when I speak to them, which is stupid. They shake. They don't know how to handle the openness, the straightforwardness. You sit in the board. I've sat in many board meetings and many meetings with Europeans and Americans and the rest over years. Everybody has an opinion. They have an opinion to speak. In China, only the top guy speaks. The others don't. Very, very seldom he gets subordinates to put question across. Because if it bothers the boss, it shows that a little bit clever than the boss, then has consequences. speaking openly in China has a punishment at any level. Boardrooms, factory floor, and I'm trying to change this. Oh, they try to put their foot in, but they don't put their foot out. It's the way we were born. So it's very easy to understand human culture and how we came, how we've been brought up.
Mr. Kesh, so what you're explaining there, so we have the West and we have all these things and the wars and all that have happened and all the infrastructure that's been built around creating mayhem for control systems. But then we're getting this new condition being built where you have these big countries that are now establishing a new wealth connection, and they're building massive systems and becoming very powerful again. And then you mention what you've just mentioned, it's the same thing again. So it always leads back to the same position of the totality of how you can actually establish a peaceful connection that's not in fear, that's not in a divisional position. It always leads back to the soul and the creation point of the ethos of the foundation. And it just goes round and round in circles, it seems.
Let's see if we can change it. Let's see if the thing is, when you need to watch what you say, what you do, because it affects what you get, how your life will be, is different than I have enough to live, nobody can touch me, and I do for what pleases me to please others. And this is going to be the future of humanity. I put this one to our lawyers very recently. I said, we have a dilemma. Our dilemma is, in Keshe Foundation, Chinese operation, wages are more or less in its district controlled in a way, hidden or more straightforward or whatever, according to which city you live and how much is the expense of that city and a lot of other things. So let's say €1,000 is average for a man, and that's a very good wage in part of China. Don't forget the poverty line sits around about 2.5, what do you call it, about $40, $50, something in that region. No, it's 15,000, it's about €200, something in that region. Now in Keshe Foundation, we have put to our lawyers, international lawyers, we want to give 2.5 points a month, €2,500 per month, those who work for us in the Keshe Foundation as part of the structure, like everybody else does. The question is, who will turn up for work when they can cash the 2.5? Will anybody will run out of operation? They get 4 times more from us not to work than to work. I'm sorry, 2.5 times. Then it comes to the governments. Governments make money out of what you do. You put your labor in, you make money, you pay part of it to the government. Government is going to produce the roads, the schools, and the rest of it. So we say, okay, in the life of a man in China, he earns 12,000 a year. He works from 20 to 60, 40 years. So the return of a man's life is $400. 400, what do you call it? 12,000 by 40, $480,000 in his life. $500,000 is a worth man gets capital produced. Now, we are giving the government, let's say, taxes this guy on 10% or 15% of what he earns. So the government gets 48,000 on the life of the man at 1,000, something in that region. Now we are paying 100,000 to the government for the same life. In 10 years, I'm waiting 40 years. That's what the government gets. Now, the question is, will the man will turn up for the work? Now that he can get 2.5 times more than what he does the work, he has to work 7 days a week, 8 days a week, I call it. And the government gets money without actually anyone working, because you breed, they get the money already. Then it comes to the point that would human race move from what we call slavery of money to live to the luxury of living because I don't need. Would we see the mayhem of people on the streets shopping with their 2,500 coins or 2,500 RMB or euro per month, which is about 20,000 RMB? Or would we see people I work anyway, it doesn't matter because I have that money, if the company pays me or not, the working for the companies becomes irrelevant. Because one nation policy pays for you to live. It's no good pushing the price of the potatoes and the tomatoes very high because everybody has a higher earning, because now we transfer energy down the telephone lines, you get it for 1 cent. Does it take the incentive out of the man to expand in knowledge, or being free, man becomes more creative, understand more about himself and becomes free? Second option is more possible.
Mr. Kesh, I sorry to stop you. I just realised that your, as I said before, your chess game, your knowledge is so incredible that you're moving ahead, and so when one only takes one of each, a plumber, whatever you, electrician, whatever you want to say, a bank or whatever, it takes one to commit their soul to do this, then it opens up to all. So to make this economy, this new ONN units and you know the cash coin and all function, it just takes one from each to come forward, and then it, as I said, it's opened up. And that sort of realization makes me realize how this will operate and function and really will create this new dimension of wealth within for the whole of humanity and all the creatures. I'm starting.
Sorry.
It takes a little while to understand.
Then I just lost you when you said it takes one.
So it takes one. So when it takes one plumber, one banker, one electrician, one tailor, whatever it is, that one creates for the whole of humanity by committing their soul, by committing their essence. The plasma opens up, and that creation point from the creator, the position that you've come to the planet to help, you can then open this up. And I now understand how this formation of the one planet, one nation, one race will work. We always thought, how are you going to put it all together? But you are such a master chess player and repositioned everything that I'm starting to see the connecting the dots, the picture, and how it can actually manifest and how it can bypass all the current systems. And I can now see why the governments and all the others are very worried, because they can see, they know these things that you've created, and it's a master plan. It's it takes a while for it to sink in, for the realization of what you've done. Thank you, really, thank you.
You're welcome. We played this chess game many times, put it that way. The more you play, the better you get.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kess. Thank you so much.
Very much. Thank you for today. We call it a day. We've been here long enough.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Kesh.
See you next time. and look at that number of 666 and see if it happens that way. Because the other date we changed, we were hours from disaster a few weeks ago, and it was diverted. And some of the world leaders were witness to it. And hopefully next time we'll see what happened with the 666. But I'll play this game for the time being. Thank you very much for today, and see you next week. I hope with less interruptions.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a 10 workshop countdown from now. All right, great.
It's not ours, it's theirs. They like 666. We like it. Carry on. We will carry on for years to come.
I'm sure we'll pass through unscathed. All right, thank you everybody for attending today's 656 Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Big thank you to Mr. Kesh, of course, for being here and delivering the knowledge of the universe to us all. And we look forward to another next week. And speaking of next week, our next knowledge seeker, our next public teaching workshop will be on Tuesday, August 25th. And that'll be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace with the members and support members of the Universal Council. That program starts at 4 p.m. Central European Time. And speaking of Universal Council, I've got a little announcement here, which I would like to get someone from the Universal Council to say if they would like to put a hand up, or Dean, if you would like to open your microphone and say the greeting from the Universal Council. Perhaps you're away from the microphone now. And okay, well, Lissy said I should read it if no one else is coming forward here, so I will do so. Okay, it says we, the Universal Council, invite the Kesh and Universal family present on the earth in unifying at the soul level every time, every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time. We, the Universal Council, give from our souls and invite all of humanity to elevate the soul of every leader in every nation to work as one soul in one direction to achieve peace as one nation, one planet, one race. Oh, Lissy has a hand up here. And too late, Lissy. You have to get your elbows in fast here. Would you like to say something on behalf of the Universal Council?
Yes, thank you so much. I only say thank you so much, Mr. Kesh, and thank you, all Kesh family, because we are the soul of peace, because you work in the back to unify your soul permanently and invited all the time. Please give freely your soul, because the planet Earth in that moment need more souls unified in peace. Thank you, thank you.
Great, thank you, Lissy. Okay, well, that wraps it up for today. And we'll be back again next week with the 657th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Till then, goodbye, everyone, and go out with their usual manner with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit. And may you all have a good day wherever you are.